our life is to be in a relationship with the Creator. And that specifically with Christianity, that this is made possible.
Jack, can I just understand?
Yes, well, Thunder, okay. Just a second, please. Sorry, Jack, go on.
Well, I was just about to say, and this is, we see this in Christianity as this venue of being able to be in a relationship with the Creator in a very intimate way is being provided through Jesus Christ, as seen in the New Testament.
Hello. Hi, Donnie is with us. Jack, I don't know what Thunder was about to say, but I'm sorry, Thunder. The reason I paused you is just not to have people talking over each other. But when you say that, Jack, you're obviously aware that you're talking to a number of people in the conversation who don't share your belief in a creator and therefore can't have a relationship with him. Do you think that by virtue of that, our quality of life or our meaning of life is somewhat diminished?
No, what I think though is the question itself becomes sort of a nonsensical one, as I believe has already been mentioned by a couple of you, and that is, what then becomes the sense of asking the question, what is the meaning of life? Because it seems as though there is this characteristic found within the question itself that meaning somehow is actually beyond what the individual defines for themselves or is defined by a community or culture or civilization. So if one is going to ask the question, of course, at that point, all possible answers are going to be brought to the table, and then it becomes a matter of trying to figure out, okay, well, what are we actually asking? What are we attempting to ask by that question? Is the question valid at all?
Yeah. Okay, Thunder, sorry to interrupt you before.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, this is just sort of, the reason I was curious and interrupted you earlier is saying that the meaning of life is to have a relationship with your Creator and that's just a statement. You can state that the meaning of life is anything. Question is, do you have any good reasons for such a belief? And let me give you another example. If I were to create a form of life, why should its meaning be to have a relationship with its creator? I mean, just because you create something, I don't see that necessarily means that you should demand and expect it to have a relationship with you. That makes sense?
Well, I think your question seems to be getting into what it is that you think God should be demanding or expecting of his creation, and I think that's certainly an entirely separate conversation we can have. But to me, the question of what is the meaning of life? If you're going to ask that question, then we need to try and figure out, are you asking what is the significance of life or the purpose of life as humans, as individuals? And if so, then as a theist, as a Christian, I'm going to say that significance and value of our life as individuals, as humans, is one that is not merely just a product of our own creation, but is rather something that stands transcendent to our own speculations about what it is that we want to do in our life.
I mean, let me
clarify. Let me clarify. When I ask that question for myself, I'm asking that question as a reflection of the many discussions that I've had online with believers who object to scientific methodology because somehow, if they were not created for a purpose, then as they go on and on and on, they say, therefore, life is meaningless. And I don't understand how they can say that life is meaningless if we evolved. How does that deprive their lives of meaning? And how you would say that it is that the purpose of life is to have a meaningful relationship with your Creator. We can get into that too. That's another dimension. But I also have questions, again, not of my own, but of reflecting some of these other discussions that I had. For example, of asking just a theist and not a creationist on the meaning of life. You are judged, so far as I understand the Christian theology, on whether you believe. And it doesn't seem to be any deeper than that. If you believe, you can be forgiven of all sins. And if you don't believe, then you are damned forever, and there's no repeal, and it's all eternity, and there's no redemption, there's no way out of that. That's your meaning. Believe, and believe without reason, and you're saved. Don't believe for whatever reason, and you're damned. I have problems reconciling that. But the creationist argument is far worse.
And I have a question for you, though. If you don't mind me asking, I'm wondering here, because you said, now first of all, I don't have a problem at all with scientific methodology. I certainly have no problem with the current understanding that science has of evolutionary process and what it is that's just want to talk as issues. But when you said you had a problem with these theists who had a problem with scientific methodology, and as such from that concluded that if we evolve, life is meaningless. Well, I think there's a false dichotomy, because I think that, well, one, I don't have a problem with the scientific methodology. But when you say that if we've evolved, these people thought that life is meaningless, I gather you're saying that life, simply because we have evolved, that is, we're just merely the byproduct of random mutations and natural selections that have taken a course of billions of years, that somehow, out of this process, this organic process, here it is that we have arrived. I'm wanting to know what about our existence necessarily entails that there should be any sense of meaning, or that any meaning of which we speak of now is actually within the grand scheme of existence.
That is a very good question, but if you note, in many of the discussions online when we're talking about the topic of evolution and the arguments against it, on all of the creationist sites particularly, and you see again and again and again, that what they hate about evolution is that it's random, and the way they define random is without an intended purpose, and they always say that evolution is without purpose, and that their lives have a purpose. What the hell is the purpose?
Jack, may I just intervene here briefly? Jack, do you accept the theory, so to speak, of evolution? That is to say, do you accept that we evolved from lower forms of life, and this was a process that took place over millions of years? Do you accept that?
Yes, I would say that when it comes to, as I stated earlier, I accept the current scientific understanding of how it is that.
May I just ask you then, why you think that humans are in some way unique as opposed to other forms of life? If all of life developed and evolved in the way that you appear to accept that it did, why are mankind unique? Why should we have a creator when?
Well, what I accept is our current understanding of this, and what I value is the endeavor to understand more about this process of our existence and of life around us. It of course is continually growing, as it should be given the venue, the sphere of science and what it is that it's wanting to do. So the reason why I think I would say that we is in some ways sort of clear, isn't it? I mean, as humans, we have an appreciation for art and music, things associated with the arts. We speak of things such as value, purpose, and worth, whereas, of course, other animals do not. So
is that not simply a matter of chance that we have developed to the stage where we can do that?
I wouldn't understand what that would. At that point, when you say it's a matter of chance, that to me is a philosophical position that you're imposing upon whatever factual evidence is presented within the realm of
now, I think
science.
Okay, well, can I bring Don into the call? Welcome to the show, Don. Glad you could make it.
Hey guys, hey Don. No, I was on. We'll talk. Anyways, you say that you value the process for understanding and things like that. I'm curious by that statement, because I would just like to know how exactly has religion contributed any of our understanding of the universe. I mean, is there anything that tangible that religion has ever come up with that's made us understand the universe better? And if not, then and you value the